don't want problems. I want peace. Always.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for clicking in on this video. Today's video is just 3 tips that I have to live a drama-free life as best as you can. Knowing that in society there's no such thing as a perfect life, perfect world, but this is how to avoid drama as best as you can. Now, step number 1 is don't backbite. 3 reasons why you shouldn't backbite. Number 1, it's a sin. As Muslims, we know that backbiting is a sin. It's a major sin, and the Prophet ﷺ has told us that backbiting is equivalent to eating the flesh of your dead brother. That's absolutely disgusting. So just imagine how disgusting backbiting is. Also, number 2, you're giving that person all of your good deeds. So don't backbite. Number 2 reason why you shouldn't backbite is because whoever you tell this information to, there's no guarantee that they're not going to go to the person you're talking about and tell them, right? There's like no reason for them to be loyal to you when you're talking smack about somebody behind their back, and they won't go and tell them. Because at the end of the day, human beings fall out. People are not always close. And if you give somebody information, maybe out of spite, they're going to go to the person you were talking about and share that information. Sometimes you don't even have to fall out. Some people are just evil and just messy. You know, we have messy people in this world. It's not just the devil. Third reason why you don't want to be backbiting is because when people realize that you're always talking about people, they're not going to want to be around you all the time. They're not going to want to spend time around you. They're not going to trust you. All you're doing is talking negatively about people. So that's number 1, that's already draining, right? And then the circle that you're going to build around you is toxic people, just like you, draining people who are always talking about other people negatively. You're not going to be able to have a positive environment around you. It's not good for your mental health, and it's not good for your social life to have only people who talk smack just like you around you 24/7. So the next thing is to avoid toxic people. To live a stress-free life, you want to avoid toxic people. In my opinion, there are 2 types of toxic people. You have the problematic toxic person who fights with everyone, is negative all the time, is angry all the time. That kind of person you want to avoid like the plague, which is pretty easy because we are in a pandemic, so you can just stay home. They are always draining of your energy. And whenever you're talking to them, either they finished fighting with someone or they're about to fight with someone, or they're telling you about a time they fought with somebody. So it's just too much negativity, too much stress involved in that relationship. Avoid that person, right? The second toxic person is the person that you realize is associated with people you don't like. People who are friends with your, not your enemies per se, but people, for lack of a better word, we'll say your enemies. If you see that somebody you don't like is associating with somebody you think is a friend, or you assume is a friend, you might want to reevaluate that relationship. Because again, they do say birds of a feather flock together. There is something that's similar in their character that they get along with that you might not like later on in the long run. This idea isn't me saying that, oh, this is very childish, like you can't be friends with this person because you're my friend Tom Foolery. No, this is more like, I know there's an issue with 2 people, and to avoid any misunderstanding and confusion, I'm gonna avoid hanging out with one of those people, right? Either be friends with one person or the other. There's no way you can be friends with both sides of the party, because God forbid something happens and people spread rumors or gossip, you will be involved in that circle. You will be involved in that situation because you're on both sides. You can be accused of doing something or saying something that you didn't do. And I'm not saying that there's not people who exist in the world who are mature enough to be like, listen, this is this person's business and this is this person's business. I'm going to mind my own business and I'm just going to keep it moving. But people like that, those kind of people are hard to find. Like, very few people nowadays have that kind of integrity to avoid gossip and problems. So it's best to just avoid that situation to prevent yourself from having that kind of a drama in your life. The third thing is to not lie. To live a stress-free life, you should not be lying. Like, honestly, lies require lies and more lies and lies to cover them up. It's better to just be honest from the get-go. It doesn't matter what it is, just try to live an honest life. Small white lies can grow into huge lies. What are big lies called? Black lies? We're going to find out later. But like, small lies will eventually lead to more and more misunderstanding. And the number 1 reason not to lie is because people won't trust you later on if you're known as somebody who's always lying. There is no relationship you have with anybody without the trust. To avoid that and to avoid being seen as a pathologicalist liar, I would suggest you just be honest from the get-go with anything and everything. If you're late for a situation, don't say, oh, the bus is slow and you're still at home brushing your teeth. With your siblings, with your friends, with your family, whatever the situation, just try to be honest to prevent that lack of trust, inshallah. So those are my 3 tips and 3 things I'm trying to work on to live a more drama-free life. If you guys have any suggestions or any tips to lead a more drama-free life, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please thumbs it up. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And inshallah, I'll catch you guys in another video very soon. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.